hanging out, UFC International Fight Week. And for many reasons, this is going to be very cool, sitting down with this, again, Michelle Waterson Gomez. Michelle, how are you?
I'm, loving life. I really have just kind of hit my stride. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older and just really embracing being in the moment, but it's beautiful. Life is beautiful.
I always ask when it is a fight week, are they all the same? You've been through this so many times. Mm-hmm. Do you try to change it up, or is it all the same, just another fight week, then you get to Christmas on Saturday?
Well, I do think you kind of have to change it up, right? Because it all goes together. Fight camp, fight week, weigh-ins, and then the actual fight. And there's a sweet spot to it all. And so that's why we all fight. That's why we continue to fight, is so that we can find that sweet spot and hit it as many times as we can. That doesn't sound right, but
I got hungry for a minute. I thought she said wings, and I thought we were going to eat. She said weigh-ins.
Weigh-ins.
Okay. I'm like, wings. All right, we get some chicken wings.
It must be on my mind, too.
Exactly.
Most definitely. So, listen, I think we probably know this from just meeting you. You have a kind of natural aura of kind of happiness and health and wonderfulness, if you understand what I mean. There's So when you go into into a fight like this, you've done it so many times, do you allow yourself to enjoy this process? Or is it something that, I know you do media day and you're very good at it, but when you go home and I have to get focused, or do you just go, listen, this is the way I make my living.
Yeah. I
love every moment, because at one point it will end.
Yes.
And then you go on to do other things. Mm-hmm. But do you allow yourself to enjoy it?
You have to, and sometimes it's hard. Sometimes the pressure can, take over and be overwhelming. But gosh, why let it take over? Why let that ruin the fun of it all? This is, honestly, it's kind of how I look at it is, this is the dessert, you know what I mean? All the stuff that we do in fight camp, that's the training, that's the hard stuff. That's you got to eat your veggies before you get the dessert. And so I already ate my veggies, and I did my due diligence. I studied. At this point, there's nothing more that I can do or say or train to help me out Saturday night. So now I'm just like, I'm riding the wave.
Thoughts on Jillian?
She's a great fighter, I know she's coming down from 25. I don't think she's the biggest 25er. She's not even really that big for the 15 division. She has a really good ground game, and those are my thoughts on her.
I always get a chuckle when a combat fighter goes, "Yeah, it's fun to fight." Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you're not normal, but us normal people are like, no, it's not fun to go get in a fist fight. Talk about that. It's fun for you and what's about to happen.
I think it is. It's either in you or it's not, right? Everybody has a fight or flight instinct. Well, it's fight, freeze, or flee. Yeah. So within those four, everybody's one of those things.
And flee.
Yeah. But that works, right? That's just that's just what you'd rather do. And I just, at an early age, realized that I was a fighter because, I would do the karate tournaments, and a lot of it's point sparring. But in point sparring, they don't weigh you. It's just your age, and your belt bracket. So I was always the smallest one, just getting plundered. And I remember I was in a match, and she side kicked me straight into the tables. And my first, you would think your first instinct was like, I don't want to get out there. I came up, my nose was bleeding, and the only thing I could think of was getting back in there and getting my shots off. Yeah. And so that's when I knew I was a fighter. It wasn't something that, honestly, when I was younger, I wanted to do the more artistic side of it, the katas and stuff like that. But there's something inside of me that gets fired up when I'm faced to challenge myself, when I'm like, can I do this? She looks kind of big. I don't know. And when I step into the octagon and I do those things, it just something about that just makes me proud of being a fighter.
Listen, so this word has been bandied around by a few people, with a lot of the people that are on this card. But you are classed as a veteran of this game. You've been there and done it. You've been at the very highest level and still at the highest level. When you hang your gloves up, what's next? Because I didn't realize this until we realized you were having you on. I didn't realize the extent of things like the stunt work that you do in movies and music videos and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Is that like a natural progression for when you sort of finish fighting to kind of move sort of more full-time into that kind of environment, or would you like to coach, or what does the future hold for you when you decide that the fighting's no longer for you?
Honestly, I think sky's the limit, really, because it's all encompassing within martial arts, and it's just I love martial arts. It's who I am. I will always be. It's not just something you do seasonally. It's a way of life. So however I can tackle that, whether it's in movies, in commentating, in coaching, I would love to do all of that stuff. We have a jiu-jitsu school in Albuquerque right now, working towards my black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'd love to be able to coach some of the up-and-comers, some of my teammates that have kind of stuck through and helped me in my camps, and I'd love to be able to kind of see them succeed and get to the next level of competition and be in their corner. I'd love to be able to do movies. A couple years ago during COVID, I had the opportunity to go out to Wales. I lived in Wales for about 6 months because it was during COVID.
Wow.
And I shot a Netflix film with Tom Hardy.
Okay.
So that should be coming out first quarter of next year, and I'm super excited about that. But yeah, man, sky's the limit.
Did you enjoy the UK? Did you enjoy Wales?
I loved it. I really did.
It's wet, right?
It is. It was just so green. It was so beautiful. Wales is like, it's right there. I was on the coast, so where I stayed, you kind of. It's funny because they were asking me if I wanted a car rental, and my husband's like, nope, no. You know they drive on the other side of the road, right?
Yes, I know it very well. Because I'm Scottish, so Scotland's just like Wales with more mountains. It's basically the same thing.
Oh, it's beautiful, and you can get everywhere on a bike, and it was just it was very different from Albuquerque, where it's super dry and just rolling hills of dirt.
Yeah.
Another outside project that you're involved in, I want you to talk about some of these shirts.
Oh my gosh, you got them!
I got them both. I'm heavily involved with Adam, and when I told him you were going to be on today, so talk about the
amazing.
Shirts and the project and what you're doing.
That just made my day, really. Thank you for bringing that up. I just feel like so many of us fighters, we get the spotlight, and these two organizations are really near and dear to my heart. Incredible Adaptive MMA is one of the organizations that my coach, Winklejohn, started up, and he basically wanted to give a safe place for kids that were at risk and disabled, a place to call their own, a place, fighters, we all have a couple screws loose, right, to be, you have to
I made reference to that earlier.
And, but we're family, and so when these kids come in and they have disabilities but they're coming in, they fall right in line. They're family to us. We don't look at them any different. They're training just as hard as we train, and a lot of times we pull motivation from them because for them to have a missing leg or have a missing limb or have a mental disability, and for them to still come in and to train and to work on getting better is motivating. And if you can't pull motivation from that, then I don't know who you are, what you're doing. But they become part of our family, and it's so beautiful to see how becoming a part of a martial arts family, it changes the dynamic of your being. These kids, they walk in and they don't feel like they don't belong. They walk in and this is their home, and they take that confidence out with them to the world, and it makes a difference. It makes a difference because people, you can't read people's minds, but you can read people's body language. And when these kids walk out into the world and they have the body language and the confidence that they can take care of themselves, it means the world. And then the other organization is Independence Fund. And, my husband is a vet. My dad is a vet. My brother, I come
what
from...
branch?
My husband's Air Force. My dad is Army.
So really not military. See, but he understands it. He understands. I do it all the time. And one time, it was even older than me. He was Army, and I said the same thing. And he got so mad. I've never had anybody get mad.
Really?
Because it's just a joke
it's
that we all do, and we all respect it. Like, we can do it, but he can't because, he's less military.
Yes.
That's right. He did nothing. This guy got so mad, so I kind of looked out of my side eye to make sure I'm okay.
Right. No, it should be that way. And it's the same. It should be the same way. Or at least that's why I have so much comfortability in the gym, because there is banter. Like, if there's no banter, then you're weak. then like, come on, bro. Like, they're just words at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, you know that when we have to bite down on our mouthpiece, buckle up and go, I got you by my side.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so yeah, let's talk crap to each other, because it makes a very heavy situation a little lighter. But yeah, these veterans, the organization just helps these veterans gain some sense of independence, which as you know, as coming from the military, is very important to know that you're strong and that you're independent. You can take care of your family. Sometimes when you come back from war, that stuff is stripped away from you, and you're lost. And I think a lot of fighters can associate
Sure.
with that as well, because for as long as I've been fighting for 18 years, that's all I know. I've never really been in the corporate world. I don't know what it's like to have beef with somebody and not be able to punch them in the face. You know what I mean?
And get paid for it.
So yeah, give them a sense of independence, and just kind of allow them to know what it is to just to know who they are.
How can people help? How can they get involved other than buying the shirts from 8 Man Strong?
Yeah, so both of the organizations I have tagged in my Instagram, and so reach out to the organizations personally. For anything, I think monetary is the biggest help, because the people that are in charge of those organizations know where the money needs to be allocated, and I promise you, it's gonna go to people that really need it. So.
Good stuff. Finally, what can the fans expect Christmas morning, Saturday?
Christmas morning. It's going to be good. I really, in the point of my career where sometimes you're like, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? And my mentality going into this fight on Saturday is like, why not? Why not go in there and just show the world what you got? All the training you've been doing for the last 18 plus years, just go in there and have a good time, and show the world why you're a warrior, why you're a martial artist.
Good stuff. Thank you very much for
Thanks,
your
guys.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service. Appreciate it. Let's hit a break. We'll be right back. Right. We had the Thunderbirds on the Super Bowl, and I've become good friends with them. This is like the first thing I said. Get involved in the military and fly these jets. Right. I don't get it.
Yeah. But Josh, he gets to stick it to the other military branches, because he fought. He
Coast Guard.
boxed.
That's who he is.
That's what he gets. But he boxed. He boxed in the Air Force, and he beat all the guys.
Really?
He beat Army, Navy, Marines. Beat them all.
So they can't get me on that one. So.
You know that they just passed a new rule in Congress that you have to be 6 feet or taller
To do it?
No, to be in the Coast Guard.
No way.
Yeah, it's a new rule.
You're lying.
No, it's true. That way, if the ship sinks, they can walk back to shore.
I love it.
Appreciate it.
I was waiting for the punchline.
Good to see you.
Pleasure, mate. Thank you so much.
I was interviewing a bear.
Oh, you okay?
His mother's in the
I
didn't know that.
Oh my God. We were waiting.
Thank you.
See you later.
Thank you.
Thanks, fantastic.